All right, welcome to the stream. This is HIPFIRE Episode 2. Today's topic is, will PUBG Mobile be the next big esports game? With us as our guest host, first up is Succ3ss from G25, Gmaster from the LMS Leauge, Pawdie from Existence, Destiny from Exyst, and X from OPGG. Welcome, everybody. You guys can all say hi.
Hello. What's up, bro?
All right.
How you doing? Hello.
All right, guys. So if you guys have not seen the first episode, basically this is how this will work. I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions about will PUBG Mobile be the next esports game. You guys are free to discuss whatever your opinions may be. And we will get underway with the first question. When did you start PUBG Mobile, and when did you first compete? And actually, do you still compete? And we'll start with Succ3ss.
All right. Thank you, Kosaki, for the introduction. So when did I start? I think it was maybe 2017. 2018? No, it's in 2018. It was 2017, April-ish. I think it was released in March.
February 9th, 2018.
Yeah. So
you started when the game started?
Yeah, around then. I've been playing since season 1. Actually, the first season I was using an emulator with bypass, but I wasn't competitive. So I was just doing that so I could play with my friends.
Oh, right.
And once I finally got a good phone, I think that was around season 2, I just switched to mobile. And then from there, I co-founded United Front with Bravo. You guys might have heard of him. He's a cool dude. And so I was with them from, I think, September, August, up until this past, I think, January, when I switched to G25. Which is a great opportunity, and big shout out to Succ3ss for that, and Crypto. But besides that, so I started competing when I was in United Front, but now that I'm at G25, I'm not really playing competitively. My role is mostly content creation and tech specialist. That's my big thing right now.
Okay. And how about, let's say, Gmaster? When did you start PUBG Mobile, and when did you first start competing?
I actually downloaded the game as soon as it released, because I had registered it for it on Google Play for like a year before that.
Oh, then.
Well, yeah, I do that regularly. But I instantly started playing it, and it was just me and a group of buddies. And then we ran into Gods, which back in season 1 and 2 was a bigger name, if you will. And I joined them. And then I played competitively for Gods for a little bit. And season 1 and 2 actually won a lot of money doing it. And then ever since I left Gods, I've just been managing teams. I went to Blackout, which is a massive Asia team, and tried to get them a North America team, blah, blah, blah. Things didn't work out, and so now I'm doing this thing with Dinner Time.
Okay.
But I stopped competing back in, I want to say about midway through season 2, because the LMS got started. Basically, that sucks up all of my time. But,
okay. But you run a league, so you're very familiar.
Yeah.
And how about X?
So, okay. Long story short, I never really, I guess, competed in a way. I've always been a manager. But I kind of built my way up from manager to different teams that are getting bigger and bigger. Listen. So, the first team I actually started out on was called Despair. I obviously managed them from a different org. I was a Darkest Nation PUBGM director. So I started out with them, kind of managed their team, helped them grow and whatnot. they already had a pretty good team. I guess top 20 in the United States or whatever. And from there, we kind of built up, kind of left Darkest Nation, which was the org that they had first joined. And I followed them because I kind of got bored of Darkest Nation. No offense to Darkest Nation. They're a great org. I just didn't really feel like it was. And from there, I managed them for a couple months just on their own, helping build the team more and more. Then we got picked up by another big known organization called Vicious Gaming, which I think is currently the biggest organization in PUBG Mobile. I'm not sure. After that, left them because of personal reasons and came to OPGG, which is where I started PUBG back in January. That's when I really started. But when I first downloaded the game was when it first came out.
Okay. And you still competing?
No, I do not.
Oh, you don't. Okay. Just managing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And Pawdie, are you there with us?
Yeah, I'm right here.
I know episode 1 you already told us a little bit about your background. You want to sum it up real quick?
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Just your competitive background.
I started competing since I joined GE in August last year. I've been playing since season 1, and now I'm playing competitive for Existence, which is my second team I ever joined. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, all right. And I don't believe Destiny is here with us just yet, unless I'm wrong. I don't believe she's here yet. So we'll get her opinion hopefully on the next question when she pops in. I'll give her one more ring. All right, so we got a little background from you guys. Some of you guys are competitive players still. Some of you are more of like the league. You have played or you haven't played. You're more of managing or running the league. So we kind of have multiple perspectives here. Destiny, I know her, and she is just a competitive player. So she's currently competing, trying to, gain her skills up there. So the next question, and so this is all about if PUBG Mobile will become the next big esports tournament. We know there's already tournaments happening for them, some major tournaments and a bunch of small tournaments. But this is it going to continue going and stuff like that? So what is the current tournament scene like from your guys' perspective? The size, the community, behavior, stuff like that. What is it like, just kind of in just a summary, sort of like, is it big and thriving? Is it growing? Is it sort of fizzling out? Is it really organized, disorganized? Kind of give me a general gist of it. I know that you could probably put a lot of details into this. Let's start off with Success again.
Well, it has potential. I wouldn't say that it's... We're just talking about tournaments right now?
Yep. What's the PUBG Mobile tournament scene? How is it? Is it big? Is it small? Is it growing? Is it...
right now it seems to be growing a little bit. Well, not a little bit. I mean, there's a bunch of tournaments showing up every day. Lots of scrims. Teams coming up with their own scrims.
How many teams would you say there are? Like, just teams in general that are kind of organized, have names.
Oh, wow. That I know of, big ones, I'd say maybe there's like 20.
Okay. 20 big ones.
It could be even less. The big names that I know.
Okay.
But there's probably maybe over 50 teams. Maybe even, I don't even know. It could be more than 100. I don't really count. I don't keep track of the teams in PUBG Mobile every day.
Okay.
So.
But just from your estimate, kind of like 50 to 100-ish, maybe
yeah,
20 of the large teams.
Yeah, that's probably my estimate.
All right.
For that.
Pretty close.
All right, and Gmaster, you agree with that? About 50 to 100 teams, like real teams that are that are organized, they regularly compete?
Yeah, I'd say 50 to 100, more towards 100, but yeah.
Okay, and you do league, so you probably get all the smaller teams. Like I've run league, so you get a lot of teams that they have a team name and stuff, but they probably don't really play seriously, or they fall apart really quickly. How many would you say of those sort of trying to, they're at least interested in it, and so they're interested enough to make a 4-man team or a 8-man, get some people together, put a name tag on, and try to actually do tournaments?
There's 1,000.
Thousands? But so like 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. What would you say?
I'd say easily a couple thousand, because
couple thousand? Okay.
We opened registration in the LMS for 4 qualifying leagues, 20 teams a week, and we filled the first week in just, I think it was a little over 45 minutes, and teams just started pouring in, and we had almost 200 teams registered. Now only about 80 of them verified, so those are going to be the ones that get to take part.
Okay. So,
and I actually had to reach out to a couple teams to let them have a second team in it, such as OPGG. We reached out to G25, LO, teams like that.
Okay. And speaking of OPGG X, what is your perspective on the tournament scene? You agree with these guys? It's about 20 big name teams, maybe 50, 100-ish of those teams that are competing, scrimmaging, kind of that. They're in the scene, and a couple thousand just of those little teams that kind of come and go.
I mean, yeah. Honestly, I would say there's a little bit less ones that actually take care or like take it seriously in a way.
Okay. You mean like the top? You mean top teams that actually stay together for a long time?
Yeah, that and who actually are dedicated to doing what they want. In tournaments and scrimmages, they're there every day, whenever it's scheduled. They get their stuff done. There's a bunch of teams that I know of that don't do it, but sometimes IRL stuff gets you pinned down and stuff. But yeah, I'd say around 15 teams that actually would take it seriously.
Okay. All right. That's 15, 20-ish. All right. And last but not least, Pawdie, you compete regularly. You're in one of those teams, I would say, that have been around for a while. They're in the pro leagues and stuff. What would you say about the tournament scene right now? Is it as big as everyone's saying? Is it smaller?
It's a very big league, because you even have teams from other servers crossing over, like Bro, very popular team. And tournaments, I think tournaments are growing. When you get sponsored from like Samsung and so on, you get your name out there pretty fast and quick. The other thing is that when you do scrims, like people love scrims, so I keep my own scrims too. Everyone loves to practice to go against other teams. It's very good. So when they go into like tournaments, they're pretty prepared. And tournaments is just very extremely competitive. And sometimes you got people that like to rage in it, but at the end of the day, they really do love it. Like I love doing tournaments a lot. It gets your name out there, and it's like a bragging rights thing at the same time. And for the future, I think it's going to keep going. Yes, you're going to have teams that go and come, but you got some strong teams that really stay around. You got some teams that only want to do like money tournaments. Okay. And you got teams that, just do tournaments to have fun with friends and so on. You got people who want to see the future and as being like getting sponsorships to excel and get the clan name out there.
All right. Has anyone here we're mostly referring to North American server. We all play a North American server. I know the game is most popular in North America, in Indonesia. I think it's changed, but China, Indonesia, and America.
Your titles, I think, weird on Twitch.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I'm hosting
Where's
on
my-
Twitch.
Where's my mod? Can my mod fix my title on Twitch? Is M, that's your job. Can you fix my title on Twitch? Sorry about that, guys. Anybody play in like maybe Europe or Asia or any kind of do you guys know about that scene over there? Whether it's rolling strong or you guys mostly North America?
When go ahead. When I usually was in GE, they had a Europe team that usually play in Europe leagues too and NA at the same time.
Okay.
And from their perspective, they're saying that it's kind of more competitive than NA, but I would not know for sure.
Okay. Interesting.
About that. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
Well, okay, so for the Europe thing, I think it was a few weeks ago, I was just playing and some guy comes in my stream. He was like, "Oh, I'm from one of the top Europe teams." His name was Kitsune or something from Unique. And so he just showed up and we started playing, and so he wanted to just, I guess, get some experience in the public matches in NA. And then I found out that they're in the same like league as G25 or whatever. Oh. So I guess Unique is a really big team, and we've seen that over the past week or so, past 2 weeks, how they've performed in the leagues and things like that. So there's a lot of teams in Europe that most of the NA players don't usually think of, I guess.
But they're
I know
here.
Asia's got a pretty big server.
Yeah, Asia, a lot of people. That's more well known though than Europe, I'd say.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. So the standards in tournaments. This is kind of a bigger one. We got to dissect it a little bit, but I'm talking about. Actually, this one's kind of. I think it's probably actually more simple. Sorry. Is the standards in the tournaments, like scoring maps, whether it's third person, first person, what does that seem to be like? I think all of us know the answer, but maybe people out there don't really know, or maybe it's different than I assume. So let's start with Gmaster. What is since you run league, what is your league standard like scoring? Does it seem to be everyone's keeping the same score? People do more survival or more killing based scores. Maps, the standard, would you guys do different maps, stuff like that? And what do you think everyone's doing? Is there sort of a standard there, or it's kind of just random stuff?
We notice a lot of leagues and other tournaments, they're feeding more towards kill base, but the way we do it is where we find it just about the most even playing field, shall we say, for the teams that rush, such as Existence. I know they're big rushers. So their kills, sometimes they don't place the best because they are rushing so many people. But sorry about that. Yeah. Sorry about that.
So you guys,
the teams that go out and kill the most can still rank high, even though they do face the chance of dying soon. Because I notice a lot of times that does affect in positioning, and we don't like to give people the opportunity just to camp a whole game out and basically be on top of the scoreboards, with no kills.
So you're saying you guys favor kills more? Is that what you're saying?
No, we try to keep it even.
Oh, okay. You try to keep it. All right. Try to keep both of them, the scores both even. All right. And you think that's kind of like the standard that most are doing it, or you saying it's shifting towards just kills?
Well, yeah, most people are shifting more towards kills, and that's just because it's more stream friendly.
Oh, okay.
That makes the teams want to rush and want to push,
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, and we like to run a variety of maps in both perspectives. We see a lot of people shifting towards third person.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Honestly, the more first person is where you're going to find more pro players, percentage of players base, shall we say. Third person's where you're going to find everybody, pros and not pros, at a lot more increased rate. I think more people play TPP. I know G25, I believe, switched to third person.
Oh yeah, G25. Can you comment on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
So you guys mainly were first person in the scene, and now third person, or
a lot of the players were mostly first person, but I guess this season, and I guess for the future, we're focusing a little more on TPP because it hasn't been. I guess a lot of the players haven't played it in such a long time.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. We want to get some more. We want to get back into it since that was the original mode.
Okay. Good to hear. Good to hear. Interesting.
But
Although,
I think in Asia, TPP is much bigger and in the competitive scene.
Oh, okay. Good.
Well, and it has been, but that's just my opinion. That might not be 100% correct, but.
Well, I believe the whole omelet tournament is third person.
Is it?
No, there's some first person because I help run the G25 League, which is the G25 section of it, and it was first person I think for one of the weeks, but it changes.
Okay, well, that's interesting. So it's kind of being mixed up now. It used to be all first person. Well, it used to just be third person, but it got when first person came out, the whole scene moved first person. So interesting. OPGG X, Mr. X, have you guys kind of switched over to third person? You guys strictly first?
Honestly, we do a little bit of both. Just like G25 Succ3ss said, the tournaments have been kind of switching over to TPP and FPP, and honestly, training for both is kind of required if you want to compete in bigger tournaments like Star Challenge. I believe had TPP.
Star Challenge was TPP.
Yeah, that's why NA got destroyed because a lot of them hadn't been focusing on it.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's good to know. Pawdie, do you have anything to add? You guys switching over, or you guys still first person?
So far, just first person, but that's the Star Challenge. That's how the whole
interesting
switching up mode started. That's why I think I went to focus on TP to sharpen their claws for the next Star Challenge.
Yeah.
But I understand that. It's pretty awesome, but I prefer first person. So
you prefer first, so?
I love first person.
And we have
camp in the grass.
That's I can't take the grass apple.
To be honest, I think third person in the grass camping, it forces you to improve your reaction time and be more aware, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you got to be more cautious in third person from people peeking around walls and so on. You get this nice momentum, killing a whole squad and just rush it, and then bam, I'm looking at you behind the wall, jump out, you're dead.
And honestly, third person, I've noticed a increased number in the final circles of matches, and that kind of raises the intensity of it,
Of those stalemates.
Yeah, you got like 5 teams still alive, 30 people in like the second to last zone because everybody's on a tree or in a bush. Laying down.
Better angle and seeing everything.
Yeah.
Destiny, you just joined us, I believe. Would you?
Hello.
The question for this is kind of standard. What is the standard like in your perspective on the tournament scene? Is it mostly first person? Is it mostly third person? Do you do first person tournaments, third person tournaments? Is the maps usually just the basic Erangel? Is it switching up? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Typically, as a team, we'll practice in first person mode, but I also play the third person. It's kind of the same thing to me, except for the peeking thing, but I mean, in close quarters, it's really just about the same. So, by preference, I like first person better, but it's important to be good at third person as well, because if not, then you're just pretty screwed when you go to tournament and there's a third person round.
Yeah. When do you compete in any third person tournaments, or?
I have not.
Okay.
But I do rank in third person, so.
And how about maps? Do you usually the tournaments are the same maps, or they kind of switch it up? Do you see any kind of trends?
Typically, everyone does Erangel, but I see more and more people doing the other maps as well. Just by, I guess, viewer votes or in their chat, you know. But it doesn't matter to me. I mean, all the maps have their strengths and weaknesses, and it's just important to practice on all four.
Okay. All right, and
as a team.
It's really interesting to hear that third person after that star challenge is kind of coming back. Yeah, our team does third person kind of sometimes, almost for fun. Actually, when we just do hot drops. But I've noticed. Yeah,
I don't know if I actually even talked about my preference.
What's your preference?
I prefer honestly third person because of what I've noticed as an FPP. There's a whole lot more lag and issues, and that's a whole nother issue which I got a lot to say.
Oh yeah, I would agree that I've always said this since they switched. Is like I was always like third person because it was original, and first person I liked it, but I was like, there's lag. It feels weird to jump through windows. I feel short. I just felt like the game was designed third person, and they squished first person in, and it doesn't really feel. I'm used to it now, but when I go third person, I almost don't even realize. I'm like, oh shit, people are peeking. Oh, I'm in third person, but I know if third person for me has always been smoother. It feels the control and everything just feels better. It feels.
But there's bugs in all of them.
Oh yeah.
It's Tencent. What are you expecting?
You guys
we're almost there.
We'll be here for hours.
Yeah, we're almost there. Success. All right, so let's move on to the next question. This one's kind of quick and easy. What is the biggest tournaments you know of? It can be just name the server if it's not North America. Let's start with Success. You've probably played in some of the big ones.
Well, the bigger ones that I played in are probably Wicked. What other ones? But I wasn't in Star Challenge.
You weren't in Star? Okay.
But I didn't participate in Rain due to disagreements with the staff.
But which ones do you know about, even if you haven't played in them? What are the biggest ones? Like number of teams and
Star
the money?
Challenge, probably. That's probably the biggest. That's the biggest one I know of.
And that's 1 million?
No, that's a different thing. The 1 million, I think that's like a global tournament. I don't even know if that. I haven't seen any announcements for that.
Yeah, that's going to be the global payout of the big tournament where they fly everybody in worldwide and all that.
Okay.
Well, I haven't seen any announcements for it since they first announced it, so I don't know.
But the only kind of so we got Star Challenge. Everyone knows of that because that's from PUBG Mobile themselves, and then we have the global one. Who's this by?
That's I think Tencent. That's my understanding.
Okay. Oh, that's them too. Okay. And then we have
Omelette. The Omelette one. That's a really big one.
Omelette is the new big one. And how many teams playing that? Do you know? I think this like every day they have.
Well,
like 20 teams.
How many team slots are in a room?
25.
Wait, let me check something. Hold on.
100 people, 25 teams.
Hold up.
Because and I know some teams are in multiple days. They're in multiple divisions. And they just kind of
so in
have their
each
secondary
one,
team.
I'd guess there's maybe like 20. Maybe there's like 20 teams, I guess, in each Omelette thing. That's my estimation. And so, how many Omelette things are there? That's the good question.
I think there's 10.
10. So yeah, there's maybe 100 teams, like you said, I guess.
All right, that sounds pretty decent. So anyone else have another big tournament they know of?
The Saki League.
No, I mean a big tournament, like we'll say $10,000 or more.
7 Worlds Gaming.
If you consider the crew challenge that Tencent hosts through the game, you don't win money or anything. But I think that's a big tournament because it gives everybody a level playing field to compete.
Okay.
It also gives some big recognition in the game.
Yeah.
So we got crew challenge. Basically, all of them are from Tencent. How about non-Tencent ones? Basically, Tencent. Omelette. They're the company. They're running the big ones. We got Omelette.
I'd probably Omelette then.
And I guess Wicked would be the next one, right?
Yeah, Wicked.
Seven Worlds.
If we're breaking Omelette up, There's the Omelette tournament, and then there's Wicked.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Omelette sponsors with
Seven World Gaming.
Oh yeah.
Omelette runs all of that.
Oh yeah. They kind of ate up all the other small tournaments, right?
Yeah.
So they're all kind of still their same names,
Sponsored.
but they're all kind of part of the same. They're moving up to the
Yeah, Omelette's dipping in there everyone's.
everyone's
Yeah,
cookie
and
jar.
The next biggest one besides that, the 2,000 in prize pool at least is $2,000. That's us.
All right. So
And then I think it
smaller
jumps down to, like,
tournaments.
500.
Smaller tournaments would be our next question. So let's start with Gmaster. I know he runs one of the bigger small tournaments, we'll say. His prize pool is 2,000, and that all goes first place.
No, actually, it's broke up in the top 3 teams.
Top 3. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, the number 1 team gets 1,250, and I believe it's split to like 700 and then like 300.
Okay, and you guys said 80 teams, right? You guys have 80 teams.
Yeah, right now there's 80 teams, and that's 20 on each. We're going to allow a lot of people like OPGG. We know they have multiple teams, and basically all these teams, the bigger teams that have like 3 different teams, we're allowing them to put the 3rd team on like a afterburner, if you will. That way, if these other teams for some reason
Don't show
drop
up.
out, we can fill the spots.
All
You
right.
know.
But how about
yeah? There's Kosaki. There's Athena, I believe, has a little league.
how about any let's say any of the big I think there's a lot of, you agree there's a lot of small leagues, let's say like $100 and under, just kind of, some of them are fun, some of them are for little gift cards, prizes like that. How many would you say Gmaster are there around for North America?
Oh God, within the month, I personally know of at least over 200 servers that host, I'd say $200 or under in tournaments every month at least.
About 200 a month? All right, wow. How about Pawdie? Do you have any other comment to add to that? You think it's about the same?
Yeah, we got some new little league tournaments coming up, like NFG Titans tournament, which is going to be tonight.
Yeah, that's 500.
Yeah, I'm in that one.
Okay, a bunch
the
of little...
Banshees, yeah, Jaguar is keeping a lot of tournaments now. And we got sponsored by Omelette too.
Okay, eaten up by the omelet.
Yeah. They're actually keeping this Omelette tournament to like the winner gets a sponsorship too. So
How about success? Do you guys play in any of the small tournaments?
Well, I guess we are only we're focusing mainly on the ones that have big exposure and potential for a large prize money.
Okay.
So because that's really at this point, G25 it's a business.
Okay.
And so we have to do what's in the best interest for the business.
Okay. What's your minimum? What's like the minimum you guys would play at? Like 1,000, or you guys have a certain minimum?
It really
you guys have to
depends. It really depends on each tournament and who's doing it.
And the timings and I guess all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It really depends. It depends.
So do you guys pay attention to all the small tournaments, or not really? You guys are just have to focus on the big ones.
I guess we pay attention to them and we look through them.
Do you?
But really, like I said, it's really up to the managers and the upper management to decide which ones we actually apply to.
And would you agree there's a ton of them, or?
There's a few. I wouldn't say there's like a whole lot.
Okay.
But there's a hand.
Pawdie,
yeah,
did you?
got a lot of dual tournaments coming up.
A lot of duo tournaments.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, there's one that's I'm hosting too, so that could be awesome. I should check it out too. And then I saw some guy doing some 1v1 tournament announcement too.
1v1. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like he's paying them to whoever kills him gets money.
Yeah, we're starting a clan war, which is just a 4v4, basically a hot drop kind of thing.
Oh, that's what we were doing too.
Winner gets paid.
See, look at that.
Yeah, it's good for content.
OPGG, Mr. X. Do you guys see that there's a lot of little tournaments? Too many little tournaments? Not enough little tournaments? Do you guys even care about little tournaments?
Honestly, I don't really think that there could be more than enough. I think it's enough, definitely enough. OPGG themselves, we try to go into smaller tournaments as long as it doesn't affect schedules with bigger tournaments and bigger prize pools. Because obviously every team goes after
the bigger prize pool.
Yeah, bigger prize pool. But if we do have time, we go into smaller tournaments.
All right, and Destiny, how about yourself?
Listening.
Do you think there's
We're talking about the tournaments?
Yeah. Do you think there's a lot of little tournaments? Do you think there's too many?
Oh yeah,
not
there's
enough?
tons of little tournaments, but most of them are. I think it's just good practice for the teams that are not so experienced in tournament, the ones that don't pay. But of course, it's nice to have a prize pool. But the only way to get the experience of playing in tournament is to actually compete. So it's good for the smaller teams that are still trying to make a name, I guess.
Okay. And to kind of switch this conversation up a little bit, PUBG Mobile Lite. I don't know if you guys even know about this. I'm sure some of you do. We talked about it briefly in the last episode, but PUBG Mobile Lite is a new...
Yes, I've heard of it.
Fucking PUBG is a new PUBG mobile game app. This is a same game, but smaller map, 40 players. They're trying to make it like a light version to run. They had a arcade mode. I don't know if anyone remembers this. I didn't even play it, but they had a kind of limited time, like they did this zombie stuff. They had a limited time where it was kind of like competitive mode, I think they called it, and you would go in, there would be no bots.
Hardcore mode?
Yeah, the hardcore, and there'd be no bots, the loot wouldn't be auto pickup, stuff like that. I think this is kind of what they decided to do with it. Maybe, I'm not very sure, but I want to know you guys' opinion. Success, did you say you know about this? PUBG Mobile Lite?
I've messed around with it, but it only works on for people in Asia where you have to have a VPN and it's too complicated to do.
Oh, okay.
But it is a little interesting. With that in mind, I guess there's PUBG Lite that's coming out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard that.
Yeah, we talked about that too. No one's heard about it.
I've heard it.
Do you think this is gonna do you think this is what they're gonna try to do for a competitive mode, like kind of keep it smaller so there's not lag, make it lighter so they can have a competitive thing? Or do you think this is just kind of on the side, they're just trying to make more money for people who can't run the real game, and this is just kind of a side thing?
I don't think so keep going. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I don't think there's going to be much competitive stuff with PUBG Mobile Lite.
Okay.
Because it's mainly just for devices that cannot play the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in order to make a game competitive, they have to add other things to it. And if they add more things, then it's not going to be PUBG Mobile Lite.
Gotcha. Okay. Destiny, did you have something to say?
That was pretty much the same thing I was going to say, because I had read an article that, the PUBG Mobile Lite is just basically to accommodate the people who have slower devices and are unable to run the mobile regular version, and that's just to also expand the scope of their player base.
Okay.
So it's not really to.
So it's just like okay.
It's just so they can have more players,
Does anyone think it's there for any other reason, or are we all on the same page with this?
It's good dragging more people, though. People play that game, then they finally get a better device, boom, they're instantly going to download PUBG, have a full version.
Okay. Pawdie, you had something to say, or?
No, I still have what's up from episode 1. What kind of lower devices? Did they give you examples?
1 gig of RAM.
Yeah, like 2 gigs of RAM, 1 gig
They
of
said
RAM.
1 gig of RAM. What's that thing?
Oh,
okay.
I don't think that game can take off.
It's just a little bit of a speculation question, just to kind of get people thinking in case they haven't heard about it. So far, everyone thinks it's just just to gain some more viewers. They're not gonna, or maybe more app downloads, and not really anything to do with competitive control. Let's get on to the next question. Is there a lack of control over custom rooms for organizers specifically? So we'll go to Gmaster with this one to start. Do you think there's a lack of control in the custom room application in that menu for running tournaments?
Well, Not really. Basically, maybe to give the ability to hide the information on the top right would be helpful.
Okay.
You know, that way streamers, they're more capable to create a room and not worry about viewers coming in.
Okay. Some people
also,
just fix that by putting like a little GUI or something.
I'd like to see options of like 10-person teams and 25-person teams and 50 versus 50.
Just more. You want more options.
Yeah, that would definitely be helpful.
What about
we could run all kinds of events?
What about locking the room? We kind of brought this up in the last episode. Do you think they added a password sharing thing, so when somebody gets in the room, they can just add their friend and they hop in? Do you think that kind of defeats the purpose of actually having a password, an ID? Do you think you should be able to stop that? Or?
Well, it does. It does come in handy sometimes. You know, sometimes now as an organizer, you know, it doesn't really matter that other people have the ability, but sometimes it is easier to invite one staff member and go and take care of other responsibilities while that staff member invites, you know, the other people. And
what about like overflow, like people that aren't supposed to be in there getting in there, and maybe you're trying to kick them?
Always somebody.
What if you're trying to like kick them, but there's a couple that keep rolling in? You're trying to start. You think having a lock on it, like no more people can come in? Like, you think that's a good idea? You think that's not an issue really? They should focus on like. I
think if they get kicked from the room, it should put like a delay of time until they could get in.
Well,
that would help.
They already have that.
Yeah.
Oh, they have a delay, like a minute, right?
Yeah, a minute delay.
Yeah.
But maybe customizing it would be better.
Yeah.
Success. Did you have something to add to that?
No, that was basically it.
Okay. Anyone else? I think X, you run any tournaments? I think.
Sorry.
Do you run any tournaments?
Yeah, I run OPGG LIive.
Do you have any problems with the custom room function? Do you think it works perfectly? Some bugs, but it's okay. Something they should work on, or you think this is perfectly set for the tournament scene?
I think something like banning certain players from joining that specific room would be, I don't know.
Having like a blacklist, is that what you said?
Yeah.
All
kind
right.
of a blacklist. Just for like a ban button, because there's already a kick button for people who don't want in, but they can just kind of get back in. But I mean, with people from like banning people, ways that they just can't join that specific group, I think that'd be pretty nice. Other than that, I think it's pretty much good. Like team sounds like that.
All right. So you guys, anyway, Destiny, Pawdie, do you guys think it's good, or you guys don't have much experience?
When I keep scrims every Monday, I gotta to after start to turn on the stream because the password and code is driving it.
Okay. So
it'd be nice if I had an option.
Check the messages.
Nice if I had an option that makes me cover it at least if I don't have an overlay. That's pretty much it. And I like the idea about having more than a 4-man squad and customs like you should to yearn, as long as it doesn't pass the passive.
Okay. All right. So you guys actually think it's fine? I'm an organizer. I think there's so many flaws with it. I don't believe it's anywhere near the standard it should be at. It could be at. The other games that came out before it are at, have been at. Yeah, I think custom rooms, you should be able to lock it. You should be able to have bans. You should be able to control the circle. You should be able to control. I mean, I know they have weapons now. You can control weapons if you pay for it, but even then you can't control drops, so it kind of ruins it. Like certain things like that, things as simple as locking the room, I think is the biggest issue for me. Having people just come in and not being able to kick them. we've got people gotten into a spectator spot once because they got invited by somebody, you know, at the last second when we press start, and it's like sometimes it gets nuts. I think it's very difficult.
I think a big one, especially in the advanced rooms and stuff. I know my buddies have problems with the airdrops and stuff. They have to put enforcers in the game that just watch the airdrop, you know, and
yeah.
The ability to turn off those would be fabulous.
About I mean, we could talk about spectator lag and how that kind of
floating people, flying people
ruins the chances of catching anyone who might be hacking or anything.
Yeah, this
Right,
guy Jaguar.
Oh no, go ahead.
This guy Jaguar, when he does the custom rooms, like if he goes to the map, to the chart of all the players, the whole custom freezes.
Oh yeah, they have, but now there's bugs in it that can't really.
If he goes,
wait. So if you go in the map, the whole thing crashes?
It's been,
you gotta close the whole app and go back in.
Yeah, it's been crashing.
All right. I'm gonna need to keep that in mind.
It's been crashing on
shut
Wicked.
down on Jag.
Yeah.
Sometimes
players with the bottom menu. It was crashing on Jag the other day on the online tournament.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you use guys driving, crashes again. So you got to stay away from cars. But
Okay.
that never happened to me. So maybe they fixed it.
I don't know. I know Wicked's tournament. It was kept crashing. Basically, couldn't watch the stream because it just crashed like every minute or so. So bugs. One thing, I'm sure they could fix that, but there's some things like the delay and stuff that are really need to be improved. But we can move on to that. We'll have another episode basically on tournaments. Maybe if we want to get into more detail, bring in some other live streamers. Say that again.
Are we gonna talk about bugs now?
Now we're gonna talk about player etiquette. Oh, you want to talk about? Let's talk about player. Let's talk. We'll get to bugs. Player etiquette. Does it need to improve? And now I'm talking about. I guess this is more for the league holders. Scrims. I think most of you kind of do this. But you can even tell me, like Destiny, your experience just as a player. Do you think other teams have proper etiquette when they are playing in tournaments? Do they show up on time? Do they know what they're doing? Do they not know? Do they spam? Do they troll?
Etiquette wise, I think everybody is pretty much playing to win. I don't like, for example, the concept of should you thirst somebody or not. I've noticed personally that everybody thirsts. Everybody thirsts nowadays, even when it's not in their bed.
I love thirst.
That is.
Especially when people get pissed off. That's when I like. It brings me joy when people get pissed off about thirsting. It's like Christmas morning for me.
Yeah.
We're the thirsty disciples because everybody kept thirsting us. So
yeah, so that's what I mean. Everybody thirsts now,
Yeah, if
everybody's
you don't want to get thirst, don't get knocked. Very simple.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get knocked. Okay. How about Mr. Gmaster here? What do you think about more on the tournament league holder side? Do you think the teams have proper etiquette, registering, showing up, or being in on time, all that good stuff?
Well, most of the etiquette I see teams lacking is organization, and that's they'll sign up for all these events or sign up for 2 events at once, and then they can't show up to one, and I don't think they realize it actually hurts themselves. It doesn't really hurt the organization because these other people notice things like that, and then they don't want those teams in there if you can't show up. But other than that, most of the pros, if you will, or semi-pros, they're pretty good. They hold a good etiquette at a game. Most of them are really nice people. But in-game's a little different. Pro etiquette in-game. I see a lot of thirsting. It's always kind of funny to me when you see 2 really good teams come up against each other. Somebody gets knocked, and so they realize who the other team is. And you'll notice that's when they won't have that one person wide flank, or they won't do anything ballsy like that. So it's kind of fun to see.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Success.
if like I'm doing hot drops or something, and then I knock someone, instantly they just get. If they see G25, they just get. Or if they see any big team like LO or something, they'll just get scared or something. It's really funny to see how their playing style changes once they see your name.
That's always fun.
Yeah. People who get scared.
Yeah.
I see G25, I go, thirst them. If you knock them, thirst them. Don't let them get back up.
X, how about you? How do you feel about player etiquette in general, in game, in tournaments, lobbies, when you host your leagues and stuff?
Most of the players in my past two scrimmages, which I haven't really ever hosted a league, so the first time. But in our past scrimmages, honestly, it's been pretty good. There hasn't really been any like toxicness or any of that.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't really have a comment on much of that because I don't really talk to other players much in game, other than.
Okay, and how about more etiquette wise in game? Like, do you think people camp way too much in this game? Do you think they thirst too much?
Thirst, very much so. But
I don't know if camping's etiquette.
yeah,
I think it's a strategy. It's a valid strategy, just like thirsting. If it's a valid strategy that you can win.
Think about it. If you were in real life and you're really doing that, I would fucking camp my life.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like he said, it's a strategy. It just makes other people mad when they die to it.
Okay, good to know. Anyone have something to add to that? Pawdie, maybe?
I was gonna say their etiquette whenever they die in a custom room or something, because whenever you're running a league and streaming it, and all of a sudden the streamer's hearing "F you" and "you piece of," you know. Feel like that could die down a little bit.
Okay, Pawdie.
Because everybody knows it goes to the streamer.
In tournaments, you know you're gonna get 30 points, top 15 points for each kill. So you can't really get upset when you thirst from 20. Classic, you have some teams that don't thirst each other, they respect each other. Some, if they hate each other, they
Thirst everyone.
Yeah, some of them, like, if they hate you, they're gonna push and they're gonna either don't care if you die thirsting you because they don't like you. Because I had that happen to me before. Like, I had some guy shooting at me, though. I got two other teammates shooting at him too. Like, he's gonna take you down with him.
Do you think on sort of on the note of people thirsting each other, or people swearing, getting heated after someone camps and they're yelling, or accusations, as we all love, do you think that kind of kills people? Sponsorships kind of looking from the outside in, seeing, is this scene ready for me to put my money down, for this company to put our money down? Is there enough people? Are they together? Does it look good? Will it sell? Will it improve? Do you think that kind of hurts it, or you think, oh, this is good, there's people causing drama? Some people love the drama.
Yeah. Majority of clans, firemen joining it, toxic.
Would you say?
There's plenty of drama.
Plenty of drama.
Yeah, plenty of drama.
What about for sponsorships? Do you think that's good for them? Do you think it deters them off? Do you think it makes the community too immature for them to invest their money in?
I don't know. I think businesses they want exposure. That's the big thing. So I mean, if drama gets them exposure, I mean, I don't think they'd be disappointed. I guess it just depends on how bad the drama gets.
Okay. What about camping? Do you think if the etiquette of, let's say, camping was really heavy, like let's say it just became overall like I think a lot of people don't camp just because they feel like they want to be aggressive, but let's say that just kind of became the overall strategy, was people heavily camping, which they kind of still do, and it kind of makes for some interesting moments.
Yeah, on that note,
do you think
like it has raised?
Do you think that makes? Do you think that makes sponsors who might be watching tournament live streams be like, oh, this is a really slow game. I don't think there's enough action for us to throw our money behind. It's kind of too slow of a game because these teams aren't doing much.
Get mad because of camping, but
most tournaments you get most points from placement. So some of the teams that when they do tournament pushes people to get out there and go die and get great content and get more eyes. And you have some tournaments that focuses on, okay, most, like, I think the Titan tournaments, they have some other requirements. Most kill gets $500 and so on. Most team with most points gets this requirement. Like, they're doing other things now to switch it up and get the, I guess people do it to move tournaments faster.
Okay, yeah, to get more action.
Yeah, and to make the tournament over quicker so they could jump into the next game after.
All right. Gmaster, I know you run tournaments. How about you? Do you agree with what's said? Do you have something else? You think sponsorships are they don't really care about camping as long as there's the numbers behind it.
Well, see, it's sponsorships that come in. I feel like on the drama sense, they really only care about the drama that's happening within the corporation or business, shall we say, of the team they're sponsoring or association, shall we say. But on that sense, I feel like, I don't know how to say it, but sponsors, they don't care. As long as they're getting the advertisements, the raise in sales or whatever they do, they basically don't care. They're just trying to sell, get their name out there, this and that.
Do you think the leagues should continue to push sort of what Pawdie's saying that might be a trend is like, do you think the league should start pushing kills as more points so that it makes people have more action so that the stream looks more entertaining so that sponsors come in so that the community builds? Or do you think that's not going to affect it and league holders should just have the more standardized tournaments?
Well, see, sponsors want the best of both worlds. They want the action, but they also want it to last a while, you know? So the slower matches do give them more time exposure, if you will.
What about just adding another round in there?
Yeah, I mean, basically, as long as they're getting their name out there and people are still watching, I don't see them caring either way, but action always does bring in a crowd better than watching 10 top teams just camp a corner, you know?
All right. Destiny, you have anything to add to this?
Hello? No, not really. It's just, I think all's fair, you know, as long as you're not using any type of hack or cheat. Like, if you're camping, you're camping. It's anything to win, right? And then ultimately, the game is about survival.
But first, we're talking about a sponsorship perspective of it. Do you think that would affect their judgment, or you're just thinking
no, I really don't think they care.
It's just part of the game.
Really
okay.
Don't.
Who did we hit on? Eggs, did you have something to say?
No, I don't really have anything coming on that topic.
Okay. And I believe G25 is just typing over there. All right, let's.
Sorry about that.
We just have a few more questions here.
I'm just waiting for the bugs.
This one's kind of a. I'm gonna point this one at X just because you recently changed teams, and some people have better reasons than others. But do you think team hopping is a problem in the tournament scene? Do you think there's not enough like solid team names out there people can recognize and be like, hey, there's all these, you know, kind of like there's LO, there's you know, all these other guys, there's that people look up to and kind of has more concrete feel to it? Do you think it's a problem that teams can easily hop because they can change their name, they can change accounts, they can do all this stuff? And do you think it's just part of the game, or do you think like league holders and organizers and teams themselves should actually be more strict about not having players hop around teams? Like, oh, see it as like, oh, you've already been on 3 teams, that's a bad sign, you know, let's have you, you know, let's not put this person in? Or do you think it's healthy, kind of part of this game and this community?
For me, when I did leave and join OPGG, it wasn't really because I didn't want to be, or just just clan hopped or whatnot.
Yeah, you're not a competitive player, right? So it's different for you, but you manage teams, and you've been on 2 different teams. You kind of see how it is. What's your kind of perspective on that? You think if the healthy is just part of it? You think it's kind of unhealthy? It happens too much? It's a little chaotic?
In my experience, not in this particular game. Mostly people leave, people join, but they don't join and then leave 2 seconds later. They stay for either a couple months, get used to the team, get to like the team, and then leave for a personal reason or because they're leaving PUBG or one of those reasons, not because, I just like this team over this team. It's more, I guess there's not really a problem with it, I would say.
Okay.
I think it actually, there is a little bit of a problem, but it's not as much of a problem in the bigger teams because there's contracts and stuff. But a lot of the casual teams or the smaller competitive teams that aren't really out there that much, players will just come and then they'll get another thing and they'll say, "Oh, sorry, I'm not on the team," and they'll be in a different team at that point. So I think it actually is a problem.
Okay. For more for not contracted teams, because obviously they got a contract.
Yeah, not contracted teams.
That's a little bit
but
different.
I mean, even if there's a contract, sometimes there can be problems that someone can just get out of the contract because of things that happen. Or
how about even things like certain teams buying other teams or breaking off and forming new teams, and do you think that kind of mixes it up, or
I think the whole thing with insane, well, not even insane, just the first big team that kind of fell apart was Blacklist, that I've heard of, and then that started like a whole chain reaction, which it just keeps going. That they'll say, "Oh, this one disbanded, so we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna make our own team," and so that's what everyone does when teams fall apart. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, there's a lot of that. And
I'd like to speak on that.
All right.
Yeah, you can go ahead on that.
I know for a fact it's a problem because basically what it is all these guys are playing, they're good players, and so they get themselves a little bit of a name in the scene, and then they decide they want to go out and start these other teams, and so then they was managers, and it makes a problem in the leagues, shall we say, with knowing who to contact, because Gosaki, you know how it is, trying to contact 100 different people for just one little roster change or something like that,
Yeah.
But they don't understand what it actually takes to keep a team in line and to manage a team. It's almost a full-time job.
Yeah. Do you think that's a problem? Roster changes? I know for me, it's one of the biggest deterrents for me.
Definitely.
I know some people like Wicked and stuff, they don't really care so much about keeping things in check, like having team tags or subs. They just have people kind of mishmashy.
Hold on a minute. Wicked, he runs a tight ship.
He does. We're in his. We've been in his tournament since season 1. We've been in every one.
Right.
I like his stuff, but he's in my eyes, he is the leader of the pack in the. Because the only people above him in his tournaments are PUBG themselves, which, I'm not really gonna count. I'm talking about people we're looking up to, and he's one of them. He's probably the biggest one there. He runs the most consistent, many ones, and things like, for me, team tags, having, and if I see a team, it just as an announcer, as a host, I see 2 teams and they have a mix of 2 different team tags, and not only that, like last week in Wicked's, they had 5 people from a team. One of them just transferred over, but they didn't have a team tag change, so now it looks like there's 5 people from the same team in 2 different teams, and it's for me, it's weird as an announcer or as a host. If I was to be a sponsorship, it's weird to look at it and be like, this isn't organized. This is just a bunch of people playing a game. It's a bunch of kids or whatever, just a bunch of random people playing. To me, I liked Wicked's when I saw it before I was in competitive, to see like team tags, like, oh, this is really organized. People are really into this. people are really doing this. They're real teams. That for me.
Yeah.
How about you, G-Master?
Basically, like, and I'm not downgrading Wicked. They do run a nice little ship over there, but I do feel like since he is one of the top leagues, basically how he runs his ship is like just how people think everything should be ran. And I know people that are trying to make roster changes to final roster verifications after they've already sent me 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But because of player changes or this guy left, that guy left, whatever, they want to change last minute for a 4th time, Yeah. And that's a lot of work just to an organizer. They think, oh, well, that's nothing. Well, shoot, we got to clear your old roster, re-enter that one, and then that's different names because I basically study a roster before a league, That way I know who to kick, who not,
And I mean, I feel for Wicked because, like, I understand him. Like, to not care is much easier. I mean, you're still gonna get people in it. Because for me, when I have to, this is what I'm saying. Like, Wicked has a strike system, or he said it before. People not having enough people, or not having. It was what I've put in place for my leagues. And I was like, great. Finally, leagues are really getting serious. We can get like a more organized everything. But he doesn't really enforce it, and I know why. Because enforcing it makes me ban all these teams who can't show up or do their shit, even though they're good teams or good players. They kind of, it's it's not the biggest. Like, it's not like a huge thing where people are lots of contracted teams and it's this huge thing. Yeah, it's very small. So part of for me as an organizer is like having things strict and having it in place. And even if the team has a name, they get a strike. They can be banned. For me. I'm not gonna take someone's name but other leagues would. They'd be like, it's their name is helping.
Yeah.
A sponsor would do the same, right? So it's kind of
like just to speak on because Succ3ss here. G25's got a real big name. They got a real big stream following and stuff. Succ3ss is good at what he does.
If you're talking about the issues with the stream recently, that is on me.
Oh no. They provide good publicity, So whenever they don't show up. Sorry, I just dropped my phone. Whenever they don't show up, it creates a problem. And like other people like oh well, G25's not coming, or they had some change, but they do.
Yeah.
How do you say? In other hands, bring people in, but at the same time, kind of nominate who shows up and who doesn't.
Okay. Succ3ss. You wanna get a saying on this? Since I said some hot stuff, I gotta say hot stuff on this show.
Yeah.
But it's my feelings. I mean, I'm just being honest. I'd have nothing against Wicked or anything. I think he's doing the best he can with what he has. I just feel like, for me, it's like I feel like that shows that there's problems in just the community itself, and just there's too many teams hopping around, changing. There's no need for it that much. I've seen players personally jump teams like every week or so. I'm like, how many teams can this person be in before they say no? And they're good teams. I'm like, how is he in these 3? And maybe he's just a casual member or something, but it's weird to see some of these people just hopping, skip diddly do everywhere.
Yeah. I started the first team I was on was basically United Front, and I helped co-found that, and then I kind of went from that. I was there since September, August, and deciding to leave was a really difficult decision because I didn't really want to leave, but I knew if I wanted, G25 was a great opportunity for me, and I didn't want to pass up that opportunity. So that's ultimately why I decided to leave. But don't get me wrong, United Front, they're great guys. But I see someone in the chat here talking about tags not being part of it, and I completely disagree with that because I think a lot of times there's people with names that are completely inappropriate.
We have that.
They don't have a rename card, and they're playing in a tournament. What is that? Why?
Yeah.
Like, no.
I mean, what about
the DQ teams?
What about Clanless?
One guy that.
Sorry, I think Clanless was a cheap shot at not having tags. It's for me it's weird. It's like, but there's no tag there. You need to have matching tags, and there is no tag. So that's breaking the rules. Why are you in there? Because if everybody just said that, oh, my name's this, and we don't have a tag. Our tag is not having a tag. It would be a mess, wouldn't it be? You'd just be reading a whole bunch of people's names. For me, it's just like there has to be some sort of line somewhere for this to be organized if this is to become something. And I think people at the top need to start implementing it or not. I mean, I know, to me, it doesn't really care. My business is based on something other than just PUBG, but it's one of the platforms I use to live stream and stuff. So I love the game, and I want to see it succeed. X, do you have anything to add to this?
Oh wait, are we talking about like bugs yet? Or...
No, not just yet. Almost.
All right, just let me know.
Okay. Team hopping. Any last words on team hopping? You think it's okay? You think it's just natural? Too much? Too little? Obviously, some are. Oh wait, we already did OPGG X. Destiny. I think you're the last one, I believe. If I'm wrong, somebody.
Yeah, you haven't asked me yet.
All right, Pawdie in Destiny.
Ladies first.
I don't think there's a problem with team hopping. Sometimes people are just not a right alignment for each other. But I think that when you like register for a tournament, it should be the roster is locked, and just just no changes after that. You make the commitment. So whether whether you're playing or not, like you register your four and your substitutes. That's why there are the subs, you know, and then you lock it in as it is, and then that's it.
There we go. Subs are for that purpose. And Pawdie, how about yourself? Think it's happening to me? I know you've only changed one time, which is a very reasonable thing, but how about all the people who are kind of jump around? Do you think it's just it just is, or you think it should be more organized, like let's say a sports thing where there's draft seasons and people can't really? I know it's different because they're all contracted, but do you think it should try to be that standard, or you think this is just fine?
Well, I started leaving clans, but at the end of the day,
what is this?
That's a dog's twice. That's a mistake. At the end of the day, if you want to leave a clan, but you got cons. I know someone that's been like over 15 clans. For like big tournaments, it really messes it up. But some people they just want to leave. Some people leave for good reason, and that messes up that certain clan when they sign up for tournaments. Mm-hmm. And it's very frustrating. Someone that hosts a tournament, and then you just keep a tournament, and out of the blue, number 4, like, who's this guy? He did not do the claim role or anything, and it messes it up, and you got to kick them, and then the team's going to come and DM you on Discord with a nice long convo and this and that. It's too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we have two more questions to end this stream. One of them is fairness, and I'm gonna kind of just generally sum this up. Success, you can throw your bugs in here. I guess we'll end. We'll start with you, I guess. But right. What do you? Hold on. Let me ask the question. What do you think? If there is a problem with fairness in PUBG, let's go over use of like controllers, triggers, emulators that are bypassing, things like that, as well as hacks, bugs, bug exploits, things like that. Do you think it's a problem? We're gonna have another episode that's mainly focused on like the controller trigger kind of part and that debate, but sort of the whole fairness issue, including bugs, because lag and bugs and stuff that affects how fair things are as well.
All right, so here's my take on that. Tencent, you need to fix your damn game. That's the main thing, because there's so many things wrong with it. It's been how many seasons now? 5 seasons, and they can't even. I don't even know what
They're more worried about arcade games than the actual.
Yeah. They can't even fix the bugs. They've been adding so many freaking outfits. Like we don't want a heart outfit. We want the game to work.
Are you sure you don't want that heart outfit?
without a giant head floating in the air. I want to be able to play the game without frame drop every 5 seconds. I want to be able to play the game without dying because my gun is single shot when it was on auto fire.
That's your fault. That's your fault.
No.
Oh, wait. Oh, it was on auto, but it was single fire?
Yes.
Oh, shit. That's funny. I thought you meant just you forgot to switch
Yeah,
it. I was like, oh, that's your fault. I do that all the time.
There's so many things. It's so annoying.
So you're saying like bug and lag mostly due to
Yes.
these costumes and no optimizations.
Honestly, I'm just biding my time until COD Mobile comes out or another game comes along. I'm going to be building a PC soon, and as soon as that's done, I'm bye-bye PUBG Mobile.
So you're gonna leave mobile games, or if there's a good one, if
they don't fix it, I'm done.
And if COD is the same, you'll just leave the scene.
Nah, I don't know if I'll leave the scene. I'll keep doing content creation. And
it'll
stuff,
just be like casual kind of shit. You won't focus your practice energy
I
on.
don't have another podcast because I heard that's pay to win.
What is?
I heard COD Mobile is gonna.
We'll see how it is.
Yeah, we gotta see. We gotta wait and see. But I guess Gmaster, how about you? You run leagues. Is there issues with people? You think it's a fairness issue?
Absolutely.
You think, what about like controllers and stuff? You think that comes into play a lot, or you think it's not really a big deal? There's not a lot of people, or it's fair enough? However you
I know there's a lot of ways to bend around it. That people are becoming able to use them. I had a buddy who used to use some special simulator or whatever, and he was able to play with all of us on an actual mobile device, which I didn't think was fair. He just had to restart his game after each game. But they need to just completely get rid of the whole emulator thing, I think.
But don't you think that just make people get around it on other... I mean, there are other emulators. Do you think they're trying to stop that, or you just think they're just trying to make a buck, get it out to people?
I feel like as long as they're getting some money, they don't care, because it's just not being taken control of. I know I've watched many players in custom matches, even just for fun. Just you can tell by the play style that they're on some type of controller or computer. Because there's a certain way you have to move with a mobile device.
Yeah. I agree. I've tried everything just to see how I played just thumbs. I stream. I have hand cams of myself, and stream myself. So I'm legitly I suck. But I just use my thumbs. Clive, I see it could be a great asset, but for me it's just a little weird. I have a tablet, so I think it's an advantage enough. Some people think it's not an advantage. Some people think it's cheating. I don't know. For me,
I think the iPad helps a lot. The tablets help a lot because they're
heavy.
Shooting at are bigger,
they're heavy though.
Easier to see.
They're heavy though. Play on a tablet for a while. They're heavy.
Yeah, and on the tablet you can see balls.
Yeah.
So
well,
you can see what
that goes to the bugs things. I think they need to fix a lot of the bugs because if we were playing a game.
Wait, but tablet you can't see through walls. I think maybe that's
through the houses, and you still got it into the hills.
Oh, I think you might be talking about a specific tablet.
They gotta be at a certain distance to see.
No, my tablet doesn't do it. It's low. That's low end devices.
No. It's all devices it happens on. It's not just low.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's.
You mean hill glitch?
I just shot somebody in the head earlier in the second story of my house because they were too close to the wall. So the face came through.
Yeah, when you get knocked. Yeah.
Well, that's.
Well,
okay.
he was still up, but if me and Success are playing, just because he's the first person here, and he gets knocked or something, if he is up against the wall of a house, if you walk up, you face that house, and you revive him, you can see straight through that wall, but they can't shoot you.
Yeah.
You can see the entire outside landscape and everything. And I believe it changed now to where they can actually shoot your head, but all you have to do is turn and you're safe.
But not like you have a tablet and now you have this magical see-through how's this thing? I'm
No,
like, that does
it's-
not
it's
have.
on everything
Yeah,
that I
everything
noticed.
on a certain distance or through
Yeah.
certain angle. Yeah, I know that. That's always been there.
Yeah. There's a lot of bug problems.
Yeah, the other day I was playing and some guy asked me, "Head? Do you mean like? Oh, I don't see your head." So I don't know if I could have get headshotted at you.
Oh, he couldn't see your head?
I didn't have no head on my.
He probably thought you were hacking. He probably reported your ass. The guy has no head.
Hacking was more of a problem though. Well,
It was third person.
season 2.
Yeah, I mean that was the bug exploit problem. Well, and hacking plus then the speed bug.
Yeah,
Fucking
I mean,
double,
hacking bug is kind of like
fucking double whammy.
custom, a twin.
What happened? I hated that speed bug so bad, man. I thought it ruined the season. I thought they should have done
that
something,
was fun. What are you talking
intercepted.
about?
I hated it, man. I was
What are
banning
you
people
guys
left and
talking
right
about
for
there?
that shit.
Drop it, crouch. You drop your gun, you crouch, you walk
Yeah,
backwards.
you do some
shit.
little
no.
boogity boogity, and then you fucking fly around and pretend like you're cool. Like, the fuck?
You have a gun out, yeah,
Like-
running like Superman.
You might. Why don't you
I
just
know,
hack?
bro.
Just fucking hack though, and then be like, hacking's fun.
What's that?
Hacking's fun for a
What's
little
that? I
bit
was
for
still
you.
trash. even with the speed boost, I was still trash. So I'm kind of glad it's gone.
That was funny. Destiny, do you have a voice on this? On the fairness, you think it's fair? You think any problems with people playing on controllers or emulators or anything like that, or you think it's all a game, it's all fair? However you gotta do it, however you can make the best play.
I think that whatever interface that you are playing on, it doesn't matter because even though emulator players have some certain advantages in movement and gameplay, there's also
Easy
a
claps.
disadvantage for them. So I mean, personally, I don't care if my opponents are using on an emulator. It doesn't affect how I feel about the game. But obviously, if there are hackers like shooting through walls or like just there's no way that they could have seen me. Like I don't know how they can get away with hacking at all, really, because there should be software to detect it. But the interface that you play on, to me, doesn't make a difference.
Okay, so interface doesn't care. Hacking obviously sucks. What about like just general game lag, device lag? Does that have an effect on you? I know one of our team members, it definitely been affecting him, where he's about to quit because it's lagging too much after this beautiful, wonderful zombie update that we got here.
Well, a couple months back, a new iPad came out, and I actually purchased it. And up until right now, they still haven't optimized it. So the lag issue kind of concerns me because they're not. It doesn't seem like Tencent is too worried about the actual functionality of the game, as opposed to, I guess, making money from the accessories and the gun skins and things like that. When they're actually going to lose a lot of players behind having a poor quality game. I don't know what to say about it, because even myself, playing with hackers and cheaters and stuff, it just discourages you from wanting to even improve on the game or play anymore because it's not fair,
I feel like they're feeding to the people that are just now coming into
Just
PUBG
starting,
Mobile
yeah.
than they are our pros.
Yeah,
Like-
of course.
Because, we're playing right. We're doing all this stuff right, but yet they're letting, don't play in Asia. I had the ability to play in Asia, and I played there for 10 minutes before this guy went flying past me in a
What's up, Bossy?
or at 1,000 miles an hour, jumped out of the house, ran like Superman back to me and shot me with a shotgun and ran away. I was like, what the heck? And it was in the blink of an eye. He just went 1,000 meters each way.
All right, guys. So I think we all agree there's way too many bugs. There's too much device lag. Hopefully they're gonna fix it. They're supposed to be starting from 10.0. They had in a huge, supposed to be device optimization, a whole lag thing. But I don't think they put it in. I don't know if that's just PR or whatever. But anyway, we all know that it is a problem. Hopefully they correct it and stop. For me, I personally don't think they will. I think it's gonna ruin. I think they're just gonna ruin the game. They're gonna add too much stuff, and I think that's why that's what I was thinking. They made PUBG Mobile LIive, is because they were gonna transition people after it got too much. stuff and try to kind of capture, oh, this is a new map, it's a little bit smaller, this game's easier to run, you know, I don't know, but maybe. But for the last and final question, kind of also your closing statements, we'll go one by one, starting with Success. I know he has a scrim to run soon, so just what do you think needs to be changed about PUBG Mobile tournament scene, competitive scene, and then any final statements you would like to make?
Tencent needs to fix the bugs and stop adding outfits and caring about their money so much, but I don't think that's going to happen. So ultimately, I think that's going to lead to the demise of PUBG Mobile.
Okay, and that was your final thing. You think that's anything to be changed? Just they got to change that, or else
they got to fix. They have to fix bugs.
They have to fix bugs, or
bugs. They're not listening to the players. They're just doing what they want to do and saying, "Oh, we'll fix it, and then they had 10 more bugs.
Sounds about right. All right, OPGG, Mr. X. What about you? Final statements. What do you think needs to change in the tournament scene for it to be successful?
Honestly, just making it more like PC. I feel like they focus more on PC and console more than they did mobile. And of course, they're two different games. Obviously PUBG Mobile and just PUBG, but at the same time, it's kind of basically the same game, basically same concept, same company who runs it. It's just mobile's more for money, I guess. So I think they need to fix that. If they could probably make or be one of the top games for competitive mobile gameplay, if they could just fix all of their problems and bugs.
Okay, so mostly bugs again. Pawdie, any final words, plus what do you think needs to happen for this tournament scene to succeed?
Well, so far, topic custom lobbies that could be good for upping the game in tournaments.
Okay.
The whole, like, for you, trying to not cheating or not, like, they should give you like more tools for you to figure out, or make it easier for you to see what's what and what.
Who's cheating? Like more tools for.
More tools to like show you.
But also, like the rename card thing, that really pisses me off.
How so?
And the custom cards. Like, why do you need cards to have a custom room?
Because they gotta make that money.
Because that's money.
Other games give it to you for free. This game's like money.
Yeah, they make a lot of money off us, don't they, Push?
The whole game is based on filling their pockets in any way they could.
Gmaster, your final statements. Anything to make this tournament scene succeed, or kind of the same as the other guys?
Well, I mean, basically less.
Or do you think it is succeeding?
I feel like tournament scene's pretty good. In PUBG, it's growing. Every time somebody leaves, somebody comes in. So I feel like PUBG Mobile's doing pretty good. If they just fix the bugs, I feel like we could go a lot farther with it. Because I know for a fact we've lost lots of good players and loyal members to the communities. Basically just because PUBG Mobile didn't fix their shit, or we had problems in some way, and they just got tired of it, tired of fighting it.
Yeah. And Destiny, last but not least, final statements on if PUBG Mobile will be the next big esports tournament, and what they may need to change for that to happen.
I also agree with just the outfits and accessories is out of control. They need to work on better gaming, and if they could add the kill cam, it would be extremely beneficial, I believe. But other than that, I don't feel like the game is carrying as much momentum as it was maybe a month or two ago, and I think that their focus is misaligned right now with what the players are looking for.
Okay. Do you think the tournament scene is like a big concern for them, or you think it's really just a like casual is really where they should be focusing it on, and it plays decent enough? So
I think that they're not. I don't believe that they care too much about the tournaments, honestly, but they just care about the in mass, like, you know, game popularity as in how many players are playing every day, whether they be pro players or beginning players. It doesn't matter to them. A player is a player. So whatever brings a bigger audience, I think that they will continue to focus their energy on.
All right. Sounds good. Anyone else have anything left to say before we end the episode?
I would like to talk about tournament.
Oh, yeah. Pawdie, you have a... Yeah, and also if you guys have an upcoming tournament or something you'd like to plug in before we go.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, so my friend's tournament, the 16th and the 23rd at 12 a.m. Eastern. Why is that time? There's a prize pool of $50. And if you would love to join, just find my Discord.
The link should be down below in the description on YouTube.
Down below. Or you could go into Kosaki page and partnerships and find me. Thank you.
Success?
I think, how many minutes? A half hour. I'm going to be streaming the United Front Pro Scrims. So if you guys would like to come check it out, come take a look at the stream. It's my stream, just Success Gaming with 3 instead of an E at the start.
At Twitch, right? It's Twitch.
Yeah, on Twitch. I'm going to be streaming Twitch, YouTube, and Omelet.
And the Twitch link is in the description down below on YouTube.
In the description down below.
Is your Twitch. That's the hot one. That's the 700 plus. Mr. X.
We're working on it. We're working on it. Yeah.
Your league, you want to plug your league and when it starts?
Oh yeah, so the G25 league, it's already in session. So it's Thursdays, I believe 9 p.m. EST. Come check it out. It's the 40K sponsored Omelet thing, G25 Gaming. Pretty sure everyone knows about him. If you don't, what are you doing with your life?
What are you doing?
Yeah, so that's pretty much it.
All right, sounds good. OPGG X, you have a tournament coming up?
Yeah, we have the OPGG leagues. You can find it on the OPGG server or on my shows.
Okay.
Those are Discord. So yeah.
All right, sounds good. And Destiny, I don't think you got anything going on. Just say it.
No, not much.
If you want to talk to her, come on over to Kosagi Games. She'll be in the voice chat. Maybe not really, but you could try.
Yeah. Also, big shout out to Kosaki. Thanks for inviting us to. Well, and you didn't specifically invite us, but you kind of did an open invitation. Thanks for letting us.
Yeah, thanks for reaching out, man. Glad to have you on, and hopefully you guys can join us in future episodes. We do always some big discussions we need to have. Hopefully, I'm trying to start this so maybe somebody in this dev team will see it and be like, hey, I think people some people are serious about getting this shit fixed. Maybe not.
They're too busy thinking about what new outfits to put.
Maybe PUBG Mobile can come over and put a comment on my video instead of people who are putting fucking hack videos up. Who knows? Maybe one day.
We'll just get everybody in the PUBG Mobile community.
Right? We'll just try to have like a 50-person Discord talk.
Yeah. We'll just make a Discord right now.
Fix PUBG Mobile.
Oh, wait. Really big thing. Keep going, Pawdie, what you were saying.
You mean like a podcast Discord?
Oh, I'm not doing that much work. Everything's doing the LMS. I mean, if you want to set it up.
I'm doing Spencer at Stacked.
Yeah.
Okay. Success?
Okay, so there's a big thing going on. Here, I'm going to send you a little video here. Kosaki, if you want to put this, add this to the description.
Okay.
It's something it's not PUBG Mobile, but it's something in the FIFA mobile community. They started this thing called $No for Bugs, where they're basically not spending any money on the game until they fix the bugs.
Oh,
so it's a big,
that's what I've been doing.
yeah, well, I've never spent money unless it's for the, like a rename card or something.
I've done their like Royal Pass because I want the custom room cards. You can't get them. Besides, how am I supposed to throw tournaments? How am I supposed to? There's another thing that we gotta get into. But how am I supposed to throw tournaments if I can't even just buy? I can't even just buy the tournament card. I gotta get a fucking Royal Pass, level up, wait for this thing. It's such ridiculousness.
Yeah, it's really annoying. But yeah, so I think the PUBG Mobile community needs to start with something like that. Hit 10 cent where it hurts. Make them change.
I'll start a petition right now.
I think that.
They're not gonna change.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Get them to.
We gotta hit them where it hurts.
We love the game.
Well, honestly,
just,
if we
needs to change.
go at them with a petition, that's, that'll actually show them we're serious, and like, it'll just state that we want certain bugs fixed. The hill glitched. That's one of the most infamous ones.
Yeah, let's make a list of like the priority and make a petition. Like, you guys gotta fix these bugs and this optimization, or we're not. No one on this list will pay anything else. And we can even put like how much we've spent so far. I know Destiny spent a lot on this.
Oh God,
I'll spend a bunch, but not that much. Oh yeah. Yeah, I know it's a lot of money. So.
Some people blow $100 as soon as the season starts, Like,
I do.
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. I'm gonna send you this instead. It's not a video, Kosaki. It's an actual Reddit post. You can put this.
We can also, put on the petition the estimated value that every single person on that petition has spent, and I promise you that'll probably be enough to fix the bugs.
I think so. Really, I really think it's a good idea. Imagine.
I'm being dead serious.
Yeah, imagine you're the manager of the company or getting this, and you're like, "Holy crap! We need to do." It is. It's like a protest. I mean,
well, see, like,
they're thinking it's just a bunch of kids.
Decent names.
Yeah, they're just thinking it's a bunch of kids, but the people who spend money are mostly adults. So, and when we have the choice, so I think it's a good idea. I think we should start it if you guys are interested.
I work with mostly people that are in their mid-30s. That honestly seems to be the biggest age group that I run into.
Yeah, I think it is professionals who don't really have a ton of time, but gaming devices, mobile devices are getting there where we can play a decent game pretty quickly, 30-40 minutes. And
I mean, my phone has 8 gigabytes of RAM.
Oh shit!
So.
Oh my god.
Well, see, I started my league back in the day just for fun, just so we could all play without bots. That's honestly why I started. That was my big pitch to everybody. Come play a game with 100 people that doesn't have bots in it.
Yeah.
And that's where it all took off from. But yeah, we fixed a lot of stuff. Maybe an option to turn off bots completely. That would be cool.
I mean, custom rooms are no bots, I guess.
That would, but.
And I think they were trying that with the hardcore mode, but kind of went south. I don't know what they're doing, but I think we do have some other episodes coming up. Some of them, one of them based on the tournament scene. One of them, I think the next one we may do is the great debate between the use of controllers, tablets, triggers versus finger emulator. I know there's people who are really into that, so we may do that one. We also have a one I want to do that's kind of a special one where we talk about streaming on mobile and relate that to PUBG, because I know there's a lot of small content creators out there. I think it helps get the word out there, and if there's a lot of content creators, they can say the same stuff like, hey, fix your stuff, or we won't even content create anymore. Maybe I'm just wishful thinking, but anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. We'll see you guys next week for episode 3. Thank you to all the guests here: Succ3ss, Gmaster, Pawdie, Destiny, and X. Thank you guys for coming out and giving your unadulterated opinion on the matter. Hopefully we can get some changes made to this lovely game. Thank you all.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on the IP this person.
What did you just say? You're just supposed to say thank you. Bye. All right, thank you guys. Peace out, everybody.
All right, thanks for having me.
Welcome. Take care, guys.
Yeah, see you guys.
I think.
Yeah, and, all right, if you're still live, I don't know if you are.
Yes, we are.
Come check out the United Front scrims on my channel and the link down below on YouTube.
20 minutes.
Sweet. Yeah, 20 minutes. Come check it out. It's gonna be awesome.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us on HIPFIRE, a PUBG Mobile podcast discussing hot topics on PUBG Mobile. This episode 2, based on the esports tournament scene. We'll see you next week for episode 3. As always, I'm Push. This is Kosaki Games signing out. Peace, everybody.